Welcome back, everyone. We are getting ready for our second match of the night, which is another team match number 16, between Sensation and Seraphic. Coming onto the stage first, it will be Sensation.
Sensation is a team I feel like kind of let down a lot of the fans in Preseason 1 because despite having such a well-known roster, they weren't able to pull together great results. However, in Preseason 2, I must say they still have a pretty strong chance to be in that 4th place spot. Given that aura, they're sitting at 2 wins and 2 losses. Sensation only 1 win away from that.
Yeah, absolutely. So Sensation, again, just trying to really prove their worth as individual players and their reputation that each of them hold. But can it come together as a team? That is the question that still remains to be seen. Meanwhile, on the other side, we've got one of those pure rookie teams here. A lot of them, coming in with very fresh experiences onto the KDL here for Preseason 2.
Yeah, Seraphic, definitely a team that we're getting to know a bit here in Preseason 2. We haven't seen too much of them in Preseason 1. We do know that Mari, Promise, some of these players, they did play together previously. Yeah,
absolutely. Of course, Snoopy with a little bit of a name change as well, but, not kind of, especially in comparison to Sensation, even though they're not under a pro banner, in terms of pure individual experiences, quite a bit of a gap here. And that's hard to beat when you've got a player like Hojin who's been playing since basically the beginning of time back in Kartrider League.
Yeah, that's one of the coolest things about Hojin is that he's been playing ever since he was a kid, and you can see right here, percent actually being a pretty high up in the speed average rank despite being a sweeper.
Yeah, again, in terms of pure stats, right, and pure individual performance, Sensation always looks pretty good on paper. Of course, this time they have Joker coming in as their 4th player. Oh, and just a little bit of a, what you could read as friendly or sarcastic, goes either ways, but a little bit of a fighting cheer for Seraphic. But you love to see it. Again, both of them are not under a pro banner, both as amateur teams, just trying to get by through their own matches.
I'm sure they relate in that sense, as you said, Will, being a non-pro team. Amateur teams are definitely having it rough this season so far, given how fierce the competition has been. And so far, Seraphic, they have been struggling against that competition. They're 0-3 right now, looking for their first win today against Sensation. But if you take a look at their speed average ranks, they haven't been able to come together as a team, nor have even one really strong runner that's standing out.
Yeah, they don't have anyone who's averaging a podium finish, right? Not even top 3. So that's a little rough, but you could see at the top in their bio, they're kind of eyeing that item mode. They're going aggressive. Okay, yeah, just seeing that Sensation's about to get their 3rd loss, which would tie up Seraphic and Sensation in terms of overall win-loss record. And we'll see if Seraphic can make it happen. Now, when they actually played against each other in the qualifiers, in the preliminaries, and it was that item mode that Seraphic won. They won that 3-0, went to an ace match eventually, Hojin clutching that out here for Sensation. We'll see if it goes the same way. Now, the coin flip did go Seraphic's way, and they chose item mode priority, so Sensation gets the first pick here in speed mode on 4 Zigzag Timberland.
Yeah, Zigzag Timberland is a classic pick for a lot of our more experienced teams. Japan circuit, that we haven't seen in a while, and it's surprising to me that we're seeing Seraphic showing a lot of confidence there, along with Factory Facility 5 as well.
Yeah, this is a kind of a crazy draft here, especially from Seraphic, because it just seems very targeted, right? Because it's like Japan circuit and a lot of the WKC circuits are very much of those kind of wide tracks, kind of the typical racing tracks where you can make your own builds and just go safely and just go through the drafts, try to overtake at the end. But then you suddenly go, Facility 5, which is a very difficult track, as we just saw in the previous Ace match. So looks like Seraphic really just trying to target Sensation more than anything. We'll see if it comes to fruition.
It is just as you put it. We saw Sensation ban out 2 WKC tracks, and Seraphic was like, well, you got only 2 bans, but there's 3 WKC tracks that we can choose, which is why they were able to take that circuit. And honestly, I feel like if Sensation wins track number 1 in Zigzag Timberland, it's going to look good for them. But if Seraphic wins there, man, that's going to be scary.
Yeah, that would be kind of troublesome. So I think Sensation will do everything they can here in the first track. It looks like we might need a little bit of a headset change, and we'll get that going right away. That's a relatively easy fix. Obviously, the camera focused on guard. The Hojin doesn't like that. You can see he's like, what? Why aren't you looking at me? I got to go on camera. So obviously, Hojin's had his fair share of time on camera and on stage.
Yeah, we're seeing our players from Seraphic relatively new to it. They do seem a bit camera shy. You know, they're smiling. Or their teammates are going, hey, pose for the camera. He's like, I'll pass on that.
Yeah, listen, it takes a little getting used to, right? It's the same thing as taking pictures. I mean, if you've like gone traveling, you know, it's like, okay, I'm not really used to taking pictures. You got to just get through the reps, and then you get used to looking at the camera. But Hojin's like, all right, listen, you know, just wait for me. We're trying to figure this out. It's the headset. It's not me. That's what he's saying. Listen, I can read his hand signals, all right?
Yeah,
it's very clear.
He's really good at sign language. I don't know if it's official, of course, but it's definitely getting the job done. You know, just getting the audio issue figured out, because he could only hear from one side. And oh my God, I hate that. When I listen to music or videos, if the sound comes out from only one side, I'm going to go out and buy a new set of headphones.
Yeah, I mean, you absolutely need that. Of course, also, we have the kind of the double audio setups here. Obviously, you've got one for noise canceling and comms for the microphone, and then you have your own earbuds as well. But listen, Hojin apologizes for the delay. We are going to be going right into round number 1 between Sensation and Seraphic in speed mode as we go into Forest Zigzag Timberland.
Off we go, Sensation looking to build a lead on their track of choice as we see Percent and Hojin having a phenomenal start along with Guard.
Yeah, I mean, Guard also just going for the aggressive sweeps right away, helping build up his own boost gauge a little bit while keeping a lot of Seraphic at bay, and that's worked out so well for Sensation as they try to keep the majority in the top 4.
I love this new playstyle coming in from Hojin into Preseason 2. As our producers have called him, he is the rank maker. Hojin, he really likes to focus on being the runner and make sure that his own lines are clean as he's trying to win the checks against Minsik.
Yeah, and it's just been very clear. A lot of the fans also agree, a lot of the other pros agree that Hojin has put in so much more time coming into Preseason 2, getting used to the systems, right? It's a little different coming into Kart Rider Drift from some of the other Kart Rider games, and it takes a little getting used to. Hojin really starting to find his stride. Now Guard just trying to block. Of course, he gets bounced off the wall just a little bit, but as we enter the hairpins, everyone's just going to be clumped up.
Yeah, it was really bad for Seraphic earlier, but now they are starting, I was gonna say, to find better positions, but not anymore. 6, 7, 8 is absolutely disastrous. Minsik, even if he's in 2 or 1, it doesn't matter. His team needs to catch up.
Oh, and Percent, just such a good job on that final corner there. Just drifting right alongside Mari, making sure that he doesn't lose speed. And he's able to always stay one step ahead. And Minsik, I mean, right now his goal is to do whatever he can to try to break the ranks. Scarlet says, I'm here to help you. But here's the thing is that Hojin and Guard are so far ahead. And even if you get close, Guard's still there to block off anyone who tries to approach.
Yeah, and you can see Joker right now playing that sweeper role really well. He was able to knock Promise into the wall there. And once again, coming in with the checks.
Yeah, well, 1v2. Nice play from Joker. You know, blocking with both the front and the back of his cart. Now, Percent, really, he's just there to kind of even out the balance in the later parts of the ranks. It's really coming down to Joker as the main sweeper and letting one guy get by. They're not too worried as you still have Hojin and Guard, and the 1-2 worst case Guard can do a little bit sleeping himself. Yeah,
at this point, Joker and Percent are honestly, as you put it, not having to worry about much. They just go for a sweep. If it doesn't work out, we still have that 1-2 being held so far in the lead right now. Promise can't get anywhere close to that.
Yeah, and even Percent, he's just shot forward, and Promise will do what he can, but again, he's not even in draft range still for the entirety of lap 2 as Hojin and Guard enter 1-2. The rest of the ranks won't even matter as Sensation closes things out in round 1 with 28 points.
Sensation showing why they are considered a strong team. I feel like this has to be one of the homeworks in Kart Rider Drift that you have to be able to do. If you want to be a strong team, you have to be really good at Forest Zigzag Timberland. We've seen this strategy being replicated by Live Sandbox in Preseason 1, and I feel like in Preseason 2 so far, Sensation putting their name up on that roster, Guangdong Freaks and Aura, I feel like those teams are also really good at this track.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of it's a difficult track, but it's also a tried and true track, right? And because of the way the hairpins are, you know, while, yes, there are hairpins on other tracks as well, there's a couple different ways that you can try to find that opportunity off of a draft. There's still a bit of a straightaway afterwards as well. Again, it's all about finding that timing on those drafts to try to catch up. There's also, again, mechanics to catch up in lap 1 at the end of those hairpins as everyone has to lose a little bit of speed. But for now, it is Sensation taking the lead. We get ready for round number 2. This is Seraphic's pick as we get ready for WKC Japan Circuit. Sensation with the 1-0 lead, and they shoot forward once again. However, again, a wider track, a relatively simpler track, so lots of opportunities for Seraphic to play their own game.
Yeah, this is the track where we've seen a lot of different builds coming in. Sometimes you want to take the shortcut, sometimes you want to focus on your boost gauge more, but so far, none of that strategy matters when you're giving 1, 2, 3 over to Sensation.
Yeah, I mean, even here, despite it being wide, look at Joker's position. Yeah, look at him. He's playing so aggressive. It's a wide track, and he's still just going in and checking everyone that approaches one by one.
Joker with a jack-in-the-box play right now, being able to block out every single player from Seraphic. Now Percent takes the baton and he's saying, all right, I'm going to try to check Mari here. All we need is Hojin and Guard in the lead.
Yeah, and Joker, look at the way he positions, right? He bumps so that Minsik has to go on the outside, and then he continues to stay ahead by going right back in towards the corner. Percent once again catching back up. And Percent and Joker, the double team here as sweepers is pretty strong.
Yeah, Promise and Minsik, I do like that they're keeping up somewhat, at least in that 3-4 position, but there's going to be a lot of pressure being applied from Percent and Joker. Now, Mari joins as well. If only Promise can find a way to dismantle this 1-2, that's the first step towards a winning condition.
Yeah, but it seems so calculated from Sensation, right? Look at this, right? As soon as you see more members catching up from Seraphic, Percent builds up his boost gauge, shoots forward to make sure. And what Percent is doing at this point is not necessarily trying to block them and making them lose out their speed, but constantly making sure that they can't just keep racing on their own, that they have to worry about him overtaking them, which means they are not actually focusing on accelerating the entire time.
Yeah, Joker had a nice block there once again, solidifying 7-8 for Scarlet and Mari. And once again, 1, 2, 3 for Sensation. They're just really taking their time right now, making sure that 1-2 cannot be contested whatsoever. Scarlet, he's once again gonna get checked by Joker.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the most peaceful races I'm sure Hojin has had in a long time. And Guard, quite frankly, as well. Even though Guard's kind of on that bodyguard duty, he hasn't had to do much the entire time. And you can see them giving a little high five to each other and the rest of their teammates, as these have just been clean races in the first 2 rounds.
Yeah, Sensation as a team so far in speed, when it came to fighting professional teams like Sungnam Rocks and Live Sandbox, they lost both sets there. However, one time they won in speed was against Showtime, where they had a clean 3-0 sweep, and it wouldn't be too surprising to see that replicated here, especially given the form that Sensation is showing today as a team.
Yeah, I mean, a new record here on the track, no surprise. Hojin literally basically had to play time trial on his own with the support of Guard.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, Sensation, it looks like this is the most ideal scenario for them in any race against anybody.
Exactly. Hojin playing time trial mode with his own teammates. That's exactly the strategy that you want to see from them as we take a look. This is the moment where Percent, he got in between Scarlet and Promise, it seems, and he had a nice block there on Promise.
Yeah, I mean, the way that Percent and Joker, quite frankly, have really kind of saved up their boost for the opportune timings, right? And really making it so that the initial boost acceleration gets them the position they want, clearly understanding their role as the sweepers, and that makes things a lot easier for Hojin and Guard.
Now, Sensation only 1 track away from their victory. It is looking very concerning for Seraphic here. Their only hope at this point is to go for a reverse sweep, which is a pretty daunting task. So maybe you look at item mode, but they have also been shaky in item mode thus far. It seems like Sensation might have an opportunity to end things cleanly today.
Yeah, they're looking to do that, continue to get a couple more wins, try to get into the top 4. We'll see if that trend continues as we go into round 3 of speed mode on Mine 3 shortcuts.
We begin our speed round number 3 with Sensation firmly in the lead right now. This is match point for them, and they still do have 3 more chances if they lose.
Yeah, but finally for the first time, Seraphic, they're going to shoot forward with the lead on lap 1. Now, of course, there's 3 laps and quite a few opportunities with the shortcuts as well on this track. We'll see if Sensation finds that opening. Hojin is in prime position to contest for that number 1 spot.
Yeah, this is definitely the best start we've seen for Seraphic so far, just in the sets that we haven't seen. Hojin having a clean performance. He took a really big collision there.
Yeah, he was trying to just make sure that he can find the out to in on those last little snake lines, but he hits that wall, the guardrail, he bounces back out. Now, he is still in 4th place. relatively the track, there's so many curves, so you have a couple more opportunities to try to catch up as long as you keep filling up that boost gauge.
Yeah, before the collision from Hojin happened, I was about to say, although it looks good that Mari's in the lead, Promise and Minsik, they've been firmly in the back there. A lot of mistakes, however, are coming out.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's a very similar situation, right? It's like this time it was Mari trying to be defensive. Guard puts on the pressure, and Mari agrees for it. Hojun, a little bit of aggression just to make sure that Guard doesn't get contested on that jump. I like it. I like it.
Yeah, he was able to use that for his own momentum while killing his opponent. So 2 birds with 1 stone for Hojun there. Now Mari trying to make sure that the 1-2 does not happen here in round 3. But once again, Promise and Minsik, they're getting blocked out by Joker alone.
Yeah, and you can just tell, Hojun, he's constantly trying to play the role of sweeper, and Guard actually does eventually get pushed out a little bit. So now it looks like Guard, he might want to switch positions with Hojun. Either way, though, the entire points here going in favor of Sensation as they still have 21 points to 18 with the 2-3-4 finish.
Mari with the beautiful finish there. However, his teammates were nowhere near sight. 2-3-4 finish for Sensation is going to be enough to give them that 3-0. And I must say, Sensation is a team, so far, at least in Preseason 2, I feel like their highs are really high and lows are also really low.
I mean, not too surprising, right? Obviously, all of these players have proven themselves time and time again in their career, but we are coming into Kartrider Drift, and even Kartrider Drift going through some patches here and there, still some changes that you got to get used to. While the underlying mechanics are all the same, the nuances are different as you jump from one Kartrider game to the next. So I think what we're seeing is Sensation is really starting to find their own interpretation and color and groove here in Drift, but it hasn't quite settled just yet.
Yeah, and Sensation is a team that looked absolutely phenomenal so far in item mode as we see the player swaps come in. Snoopy, formerly known as a player from Reboot, is going to come in and replace Mari.
Yep, Snoopy with a little bit of a name change, but we have seen him on stage before. Now coming in as that item ace. Now again, we always like to mention one of the unique things about Sensation, same as one of our pro teams, KDF, is that they only have a 4-man roster, so no designated item ace. So all 4 of them will be focusing in. Now Seraphic, they took the item priority, and they took it so that they can take us to Desert Sphinx's Riddle first.
So they all end here, right? They're looking at London Night. I do approve that track because, as I said a lot, London Night is a track where I feel like a lot of teams can kind of always have a win condition. And then for Pharaoh's Pass, I am overall a fan of the tracks that Seraphic picked.
Yeah, and overall, what we've kind of seen as a weakness from Sensation, and not too surprising here, is that whenever the opponents try to go for these disruption tactics, right, rather than just throwing all the attacks, but just slowing them down, with things like the UFO or the Magna and things like that, Sensation's still not entirely prepared for those in the final lap. And so Seraphic, if they've identified that, I mean, the tracks they've picked absolutely have those openings where you have a couple extra options away from just trying to attack your opponents. So we'll see if they can secure those rounds. I'm
sure Seraphic feels confident about securing those rounds because in the preliminaries when they faced Sensation previously, they went 3-0 against Sensation in item mode, and it was ace match where they lost to Hojun with Minsik, so it would be exciting to see a potential rematch happen here.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. Does it go to that ace match once again? We'll have to find out. It's all up to Seraphic. Can they mount a comeback after losing speed mode? We find out as we enter round 1 of item mode between these 2 teams on Desert Sphinx's Riddle. And Seraphic looking to take us to a victory on item mode and bring us yet another ace match today.
Right, we're seeing Percent in the lead so far. He's holding on to a shield, and it's going to be cycled through right there, avoiding the missile collision. However, the water bomb, you can't really dodge that unless you got a shield.
Yeah, Percent was trying to slow down too. It looks like eventually he still catches it right at the edge. Snoopy just avoiding that one barely, but again, just lap 1 of 3, and as long as Minsik doesn't get too crazy far ahead, this is a track where eventually everyone will kind of catch back up, and we'll have to see what the idea is as we enter lap 2.
A lot of water bombs. That's the idea I'm getting so far. And we are not seeing any Angels picked up. Scarlet going for a little 360 play there. And it is going to catch Hojun.
Yeah, just a little bit of disruption, right? I mean, they still are holding on to that lead. They've still got some attacks ready from behind on Snoopy, and Snoopy's just going to cycle those through when he sees that opening, right? Start to take away whatever shields the opponents have so that Scarlet can still maintain the lead whenever possible.
Right now, it's Sensation looking pretty good with their positions. It's only the second lap, but all three players firmly in the top right now. We're seeing Lightning being held by each team, one per piece.
Yeah, and I like it, right? Everyone's being so careful to just slow down, make sure you pick up the items, because everyone is cycling through aggressively right now, Peter. I mean, you don't have room to just sit on a couple items and wait for the third lap.
Yeah, right now, Joker, he has been holding on to his combo in Magnet and Booster. He's going to utilize one of those items now. It's Hojin having that Magnet and Boost combo. It would be exciting to see that being utilized to greatness here.
Yeah, but here's the thing. More Lightning Bolts on board. Sensation guards holding on to 2. And then we still have 2 across the entire team of Seraphic, and only 1 Angel Shield on the side of Seraphic with the boost in play as well. This is absolutely a tempo battle and a mental game. Who goes for the shock first?
But only Seraphic has Angel right now, so that's going to be a difference maker. As we see right now, Promise is in the lead. He doesn't have any items, but he picks up a shield, which I think is a good choice.
Yeah, and that's able to block out that missile. They don't have to use that Angel Shield just yet. And Scarlet now up front with an EMP himself. Joker's got that boost ready to go. But here comes the Lightnings and Snoopy. He's able to block out the first one, but he gets shocked in the last second. He's still way too far ahead. No one can catch up. And Seraphic, the Angel, saves them as they cross the finish line first.
Seraphic is making history repeat here, looking for a 3-0 win against Sensation in item mode. They checked that first box, and as you said, Will, even with Snoopy getting targeted out, there was no chance for Sensation to really catch up. Hojin was way too far behind because he kept getting caught out by these offensive items.
Yeah, and again, I mean, when you both have, double Lightnings, but the opponents have that Angel, you have to find another way to either bait out that shield or use a Lightning and immediately follow up, because again, those Angels now only block 1 attack. But because I like the idea from Seraphic, they actually countered the first Angel with their own Angel or the first Lightning, excuse me, with their own Lightning, so that the members over on Sensation didn't really have an opportunity to really chain their attacks right afterwards, right? So that buys you a little bit of tempo. Then you've got that shield coming out, and Snoopy isn't going to be affected by the second Lightning. He can continue cruising through and cross the finish line.
And we just saw how important the Angel really is, because it was Seraphic who had the Angel, whereas Sensation, they didn't. And that difference you saw in the distance between Snoopy and Hojin there, as we take a look at the replay here.
Yeah, so the first Lightning comes out just to kind of trade back and forth, and Snoopy didn't get hit by the first one. He does get hit by the second, but by that time, he's so far ahead. His teammates have changed their attacks, against their opponents, and Sensation, I mean, at that point, you cannot catch up.
Yeah, it's really rough there for Sensation to lose on that one, but it was a track chosen by Seraphic, so they fell to their opponent's strategy. You can't be too concerned about that, because now it's your strategy coming into play. Track number 2 will be held in Glacier Shark's wake. It's Seraphic looking to continue their lead here in item round 2 against Sensation. It's a track chosen by Sensation. Right now, they have a really good position.
Yeah, and again, everyone just slowing through. Hojin actually boosting right through to overtake and take out the items from right under their opponent's noses. So, again, we've been seeing that in the first match of the day as well, where some players are starting to get a little aggressive on taking away the item boxes right in front of their opponents so that they can't continue their tempo.
Yeah, as you saw, Guard there really putting a lot of emphasis on picking up the items. As we see Hojin, he has a banana. He wants to cycle that through and hopefully pick up something like a shield.
Yeah, and just the water balloons continue to keep that tempo up for Sensation. Eventually the UFOs come in, and that's what we're seeing from a lot of these players like Joker, Percent, Hojin earlier as well, that when the water bombs start coming through Sensation, you can see they're all hugging the walls, right, saying we don't want to get hit by that. Even our teammates, they can just safely throw that out, chuck it out there for that advantage in tempo.
Yeah, Percent, you actually got thrown out of line completely there, falling behind quite a bit. Now Seraphic They do get a nice positional advantage off of that one. We're seeing a lot of water bombs. Holy cow.
Yeah, water bombs galore, and you can just see they're all just being chucked out for tempo. But here's the thing, Percent is the biggest benefactor from this one. He's continuing to stay ahead. He gets hit by a chain of attacks here, though. The UFO really sealing the deal. Everyone catches back up. Now, most importantly, double lightning on the side of Seraphic. However, one Angel shield, a very important one on the side of Joker.
The numbers are in favor of Seraphic right now in that kind of spear versus shield game. Here in lap number 3, it's the last chance for the teams to try to pick up some more defensive or offensive capabilities. Right now, it does seem like Seraphic has a slightly better inventory.
Yeah, I mean, Percent, if he can just get one more shield, try to keep himself safe, maybe you're able to guard that lightning bolt from the opponents, try to boost forward. But here's the thing, that Magnet did such work, and Scarlet now sitting healthy. It's actually Scarlet and Promise with the lightning bolts and the shields sitting in first place.
Yeah, and Promise, he was able to throw Percent off there, taking an unfortunate line. Now Scarlet has a firm lead. Here comes the lightnings right now. Scarlet's in the lead. Joking, looking to catch up, and it's Joker in the lead, spins into finish line.
Barely as well. Yeah, you can see he's like, oh no, I got hit by that water bomb, or by that missile right at the very end, but it just keeps enough momentum to push him over the edge. It did look a little scary, right? Sure, the lightning bolt gets angeled right away, but it still looked like Seraphic has such a big lead, but then the magnets come through to really pull back the opponents, and Joker able to slide right on by on the left side of the track.
The difference was by 0.06 seconds almost. That's how close it was, and I'm sure that Joker, he's got to get that adrenaline rush right now on the back of that win. You can see how happy he is posing for the camera. And you have to wonder, a happy Joker, does that change his plays? Is he going to carry the next round as well?
I mean, maybe. This was such a close race here in round 2 and an absolute clutch finish here for Joker. But the biggest thing is right, this was set up by the team, and Joker really just glad that he was able to maintain the position that he needed to bring them round 2. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have no time to waste as we get ready for round 3 in item mode, currently tied 1-1 as we get ready for World Tour London Night. And the race is off. Sensation, they will do whatever they can to try to close things out in item mode here. Scarlet, he's just going to have to wait for as long as possible to pick up these items to keep up the tempo in lap 1.
Yeah, this is London Night, which is a pretty scary track for any team to participate in. You don't know which way it's going to go, but so far, I must say, based on the inventory alone, I am seeing a lot of magnets across the board. It seems like players are just going to cycle through. I thought maybe they would hold it onto it for the later laps, but no.
Yeah, and what's interesting to me is Vincent got that lightning bolt on the second item box he picks up, and I was curious, do you just cycle through it early to try to keep up tempo? And it seems like they said, okay, well, if we can stack 2 or 3 right from the get-go, let's save all those up for the final opportunity. That seems to be the game plan for now. However, Angels are starting to pop up on the side of Sensation.
Yeah, the third Angel came up for Sensation. However, one's going to get cycled out. So now it's 3 Lightnings versus 1 Angel. A lot of the Angels being used preemptively in lap 2 to make sure that the momentum is not lost.
Yeah, the idea here being that Guard had the shield and the boost as well, so if he can keep cycling through the shield, he should be able to keep the lead. However, 2 more Lightning still on the side of Seraphic. Sensation's gonna have to find an answer for this as they get into lap number 3.
Promise is going to get spinned out of control right before that Ferris wheel, and now Snoopy with a completely different line from the rest. He's able to come in first place for Seraphic. Hojin and Percent holding on to a Nitrous.
Yeah, and the Angel, so they now have that answer to the potential lightning bolts. They already cycled through the WFOs to pull back their opponents as well. Sensation keeping the lead. They've got a couple players with those boosts ready to go.
Yeah, those boosts are looking really, really scary, especially given that there's no magnet at all on the side of Seraphic, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4 right now for Sensation with 3 boosters and 2 Angels.
Yeah, they found all the answers that they want. Now, no one was able to go up onto the higher ground. The second lightning will hit. Only that 1 Angel available.
Ooh.
But Snoopy, he is able to jump right on by. And Scarlet right behind him as well to support. No boost left as they all tried to use it to jump over the Ferris wheel, but it does not happen. And Seraphic will get another round win.
Everyone tackled into each other right before that Ferris wheel, as you said, Will. It was like watching a game of football where everyone was rushing to get up onto that stage, but because there were so many racers, it can't be helped that other players are going to fall off.
Yeah, I mean, a little rough. The game plan seemed relatively solid here for Sensation, but the boost, the timing of it, just not able to come through. Seraphic shuts it down, and then all the items were used, right? I mean, those boosts, you had to save a couple of them for that last bit, but the thing is that just the Angels being cycled out one tempo too early because of the aggressive attacks, then the final lightning bolt still hits the entire team of Sensation, and then they had to use the boost early to just try to catch up.
Yeah, I'm loving the focus right now coming in from Seraphic, showing why they were able to beat Sensation 3-0 in item mode previously. And the next track is chosen by Sensation. So far, the trend in this item mode has been teams, whoever selected their own tracks, they were able to win in it. So now, for round 4, let's see if Sensation can take a win in Glacier Polar Halfpipe. Seraphic 2-1 right now in item mode against Sensation. This is match point for them. Let's see what crazy moves they have for us in Polar Halfpipe.
Yeah, I mean, one thing for sure is that Seraphic definitely understands the importance of tempo. That's what I'm seeing, right? They are not allowing themselves to ever miss item pickup, right? They say, okay, if it looks like I'm not going to be able to get it, I'm just going to full stop, wait for the items to pop up, you know, pick up the items, and then catch back up to the rest of the squad.
Yep, absolutely. Right now we're seeing Lightning held by Scarlet once again. If there's one thing I learned about Kart Rider Drift item mode today, it's that if you get a Lightning in first lap, you hold on to it till the third lap.
Yeah, I mean, especially, here's the thing. I think Seraphic understanding that if they're able to get one on the board, they can still pressure that to force Sensation to try to save shields or angels. But then that gives you the freedom to constantly chuck out every other attack you have. So now you pose the question to Sensation, do you want to lose your tempo or do you want to, you know, lose your angel, right? And that puts the pressure onto Sensation to try to have to change their game plan every part of the lap.
However, now Sensation does manage to pick up that pressure item themselves in Lightning Guard. Holding onto a shield firmly, he's able to block out the water bomb with that, picking up another shield, looking pretty good right now.
Yeah, and I'm glad you kind of made that comparison, Peter, because now that means Sensation, with them already having the lead, they do have that slight advantage in saying, okay, well, what is your answer to this? Well, it looks like WFO is a pretty good one. It's going to slow down Guard, but Percent and Hojin's still right behind him.
Yeah, and the Angel right now being held by Sensation. There's two of them.
Ooh, yeah, I mean, a great chain of abilities here from Seraphic. All items making sure to be targeted on someone else on Sensation to make sure that they can all catch back up, and a great water bomb.
Yeah, a fantastic one here, especially in Polar Halfpipe now. As we approach the upper ground, we're going to see if Promise uses the Nitrous to get up there. Yes, he does.
Yeah, and he does still have that extra boost ready to go as well. Now, however, we do have lightning bolts on both sides. Now, Sensation, they're actually not able to use their Angel, but they're going to counteract with their own attack. Minsik, however, has shot forward. He's got a shield ready to go.
Oh, he gets caught out. However, now Minsik going to get chained by the lightning. The shield came into
got
play.
The magnet.
But Hojin, he gets blocked out.
The barricade, but the Wisp comes in the last second as well. What a chain of events. Attacks non-stop against the person in first place, and eventually it is Sensation with the last lap as they tie things up 2-2.
That was one of the closest matches I have seen in Glacier Polar Halfpipe. It feels like there was no moment there in the final 500 meters where you could be sure which team had it, but in the end, it's Sensation clutching a win, and you can see how happy the players of Sensation looks about that one.
Yeah, I mean, you can just see the laughs coming out from Percent. It was a really close one, right? But that final Wisp being thrown out ahead of time to just keep him locked up on the side of Seraphic brings Sensation the victory. And now we will be going to that final track on item mode.
Yeah, I love that smile on Guard's face as well, being happy that he's the one that was able to clutch it for his team. Here in the replay, I feel like this is the third lap, so this is where Minsik, he did get caught out, but Joker with a sick play.
Yeah, Joker just trying to make sure that he can maintain the speed, try to make sure that he can block for whatever reasons possible. And here's the thing is that Hojin does get blocked off by the blockade, but the Wisp again had already been thrown. Just a great chain of events here. And Seraphic had a nice idea. They actually saved the shield for the lightning bolt, but it just was not enough. Now it comes down to the very last track. It's Desert Pharaoh's Pass. Sensation looking to close things out on item mode as well, but Seraphic trying to repeat what happened in the preliminaries and try to take us to an ace match rematch against Sensation.
It would be really exciting to see that, of course, but so far, focusing on item round 5, it seems that there's no Angels or Lightning anywhere across the board this time. There's going to be a lot more emphasis on individual shields. Water Wisp, we've seen that being super crucial against Minsik in round 4. That was able to give the win to Sensation.
Yeah, and of course we just saw the Water Bombs doing some decent work here in the tunnel as well. As we try to wrap up lap number 1, Hojin will fall off, but again, just the first lap, no big deal. He should be able to catch right back up.
Yeah, but that's going to buy some nice time there because 2 members of Sensation got caught out by that. Now, Minsik going to utilize that and propel all the way into first place. We're seeing Joker coming up, taking the rear. I like that Minsik has double shield, however, and he's the only one with that.
Yeah, and Percent, he did have an opportunity to use that magnet, but he says, okay, we still got a decent chance to overtake. I'm just going to save this for when it is needed. Again, you got to kind of start to prioritize what are the clutch items that we might want to start stacking together.
Yeah, Guard, he didn't use his shield for that Wisp there, so he's going to fall behind into second place. Now, it's Scarlet, Snoopy, and Minsik going into the front. However, the UFO and the Water Bomb is going to slow them down.
Yeah, we do have Hojin still picking up that item. He was almost blocked out of it, but he's going to just maintain the Water Bomb and the shield. Uses the shield to block the Wisp. Still got a bomb of his own.
Yep, and Minsik, he was able to block out the UFO from hitting him there. So he's going to keep up the lead, but now it's Percent speeding across, holding onto a shield. Now he did need to cycle through that. So it's going to be Seraphic looking to take down Percent, who picks up double shield just in time.
Yeah, both Minsik and Percent, they're going to avoid the attacks that come their way, but here's the thing, Peter, Lightning Bolt ready for Seraphic, double Angel Shield as well, so they are quite well prepared. As long as Minsik can maintain the first place, Percent will find the corner. Neither of these first 2 players have items in the arsenal just yet.
Percent put a lot of emphasis there on blocking, but it didn't work out. Now it's Seraphic taking a huge lead off of that Lightning Promise with an excellent shield, able to speed right through the barricade into the finish line.
Yeah, and even just the finishing Water Bomb to secure the victory here for Seraphic in item mode. And that does mean we go to yet another ace match here in Preseason 2 team matches between Sensation and Seraphic.
I am super excited for this one. We get to see, I would say, more ace matches from Hojin because based on the form that he's been showing, I think it will be most likely that Sensation would want him to represent that match. Whereas for Seraphic, so far it was Minsik playing for the team, and also back then when they faced against Sensation, it was Minsik versus Hojin. So that repeat, I'm likely seeing it happen.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to wait and see, but it does seem likely. Of course, we'll have to wait and find out what the track is for the ace match as well. I mean, Seraphic, they just had the perfect arsenal towards the end of Pharaoh's Pass, right? They had the Angel, plus they had individual shields, they had their own Lightning Bolt as well. Everything to basically force the item dump a little bit earlier once again from Sensation. We saw the same thing happen on World Tour London Night earlier in round 3.
Yeah, definitely. I like that Seraphic is keeping up a trend here where, at least in item mode, they're able to secure wins because in speed, they kept getting 0-3'd, which happened again today against Sensation. So they are at a 4-loss streak right now in speed where they weren't able to take a single round. So if they win at least the ace match here, they'll be able to take their first team win, which will be a big boost to their morale.
All right, so most likely Hojun on the side of Sensation, but we will wait for confirmation. It does look like it, right? He's drying his hands, he's getting ready. Looks like he might be logging into the server. We're just reading into as much as we can, and oh boy, it is going to be Mind Winding Slopes. Another one of those tracks where you put a little pressure on your opponents, and there's just so many turns where you can make that one mistake that pushes you all the way back.
And Mind Winding Slopes is one of those tracks where in a 1v1 situation, it's really hard to catch up once you fall behind. So we're going to see our players take the stage here. Actually, Scarlet coming out for Seraphic, which is the turnaround, and Hojin for Sensation.
Okay, I like it from Seraphic. A little bit of confidence coming out from Scarlet, going on to Winding Slopes. It's just going to be a one-and-done race, 1v1 to determine who takes the victory. Sensation trying to break away from the bottom of the pack with a second win on the board. Meanwhile, Seraphic still fishing for their first one.
Yeah, and I feel like Scarlet, if he's able to make his ace match debut here in Preseason 2 against the likes of Hojin with his form right now, it's going to be a big boost to his own confidence as well as his team morale. Let's see which one of these two players are able to take that win in ace match in Mine Winding Slopes.
Scarlet versus Hojin, who will bring home that extra win here for the team match. Sensation took speed mode, Seraphic took item mode so far.
And Hojin with a phenomenal build here. He's able to gather a pretty significant lead already into the race, but Scarlet, no stranger to Kart Rider. He's able to catch up right back.
Yeah, I mean, especially, of course, just these long hairpins. You don't have too much room to work with. Scarlet's putting on the pressure. He's trying to force Hojin to make a mistake on the jump here, but Scarlet, he might have to... Oh, Hojin tries to avoid the crash, but that forces such a big slowdown and gives the opportunity for Scarlet to regain himself and get the lead as well.
However, you have to keep in mind that Hojin had a really big advantage in the boost gate, so he's able to catch up right back, and he's just going to time his draft here, honestly. He doesn't even need to go for it right now, but he does! And that's an execution on Scarlet by Hojin.
An absolutely calculated attack, like you said, Peter, right off of that draft. He just makes sure that he zips right on by Scarlet, and Scarlet just cannot possibly win that body check, right? I mean, the momentum is absolutely in favor of Hojin because of the double acceleration from the boost in the draft. And now Hojin, he simply has to not make a mistake. The gap is already too big.
Yeah, we can already see Hojin taking the safer lines right now. Don't want to take any risks there because Scarlet is so far behind, and Hojin, he's only 300 meters away.
And that's going to be the finish line cross here from Hojin. You can see that he was comfortable. He knew it was in the bag as soon as he got that attack against Scarlet. And what a way to race it, though. I mean, I think we're clearly seeing that Hojin definitely is starting to get a better grasp of the kind of minute nuances in Kart Rider drift specifically.
Yeah, and I love that Hojin is able to pull off this win here because we have to keep in mind that Sensation as a team, they're basically competing with Aura for that 4th place spot to move on to postseason. And if they lost today against a team like Seraphic, which is seemingly an easier team to go up against than the other pro teams, it could have been a big disaster to that hope.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely, but what a good play here from Hojin. And it all started with him avoiding any mistakes on that first jump, right? He saw the pressure coming in from Scarlet and said, okay, you know what? I don't want any of this. Maybe, if anything, because you're playing so aggressive, you make the mistake on the jump. He realizes Scarlet doesn't, but Scarlet also had to slow down just a tad bit to regain. And so Hojin will immediately find that opportunity again as they enter the tunnels, forces that attack against Scarlet, brings home the ace match victory, and now Sensation gets another win in team matches.
Yeah, I love that Sensation was able to continue their streak of having 3-0 wins, flawless victories in that speed mode against the amateur teams. As we take a look at the standings now, they are above Aura due to their advantage in round wins, exactly 1 win above them, as well as set round being 1 point ahead.
Yeah, so Sensation, so far, so good. Now, they still haven't faced the likes of Guangdong Freaks, so that's why this win was so much more important, right? Because obviously that we all know is going to be a tough one as the defending champions. So Sensation's going to be very happy about this. This kind of keeps a pretty healthy hope alive to get into the top 4 for the postseason. Meanwhile, Aura, I mean, you knew this was coming. You knew this was going to be the rivalry of this preseason too. So Aura just has to focus on on their own little matches.
Yeah, it's definitely a big momentum boost for Sensation here to be able to now come in as the 4th place. And as you said, for a team like Aura, we keep talking about them as such a strong team that looks pretty formidable and likely one of the biggest challengers out of the non-pro teams. And now, with Aura being in 5th place, if Sensation or Aura loses even 1 game, it could be disastrous.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, every single win is going to matter. And again, from the likes of Sensation, again, still not a matchup against Guangdong Freaks. So every other match, they kind of want to guarantee that win because in theory, that's probably a loss. Not to say that it's not possible, but you just have to kind of give that little margin for yourself and say, okay, well, that's going to be our toughest match. So can we win every other match that now remains, as that is going to be kind of the one pro team that they have left facing right now in the round robin?
Yeah, and I think it's really important that Hojin was able to play in the ace match today and get a win for himself, because the last time he performed for Sensation, it was against NEAL from Live Sandbox, and that was one of the closest ace matches we've ever had, where it felt like Hojin was leading throughout most of the ace match. However, NEAL, he's so good with the draft timings, and that small difference is what made Hojin lose. But now getting this win today here is going to help him now gather back his mentality and think, okay, I'm Hojin, I'm the Emperor, I can beat all these pro player ace matches.
Yeah, I mean, even that ace match against NEAL, right, in the Live Sandbox match, Hojin played so well, it was just that NEAL was one step ahead. So what a great ace match that was. Make sure to go check that VOD out if you missed it. But ladies and gentlemen, we're not done for the night. We do have these solo matches coming up. Of course, it is the round of 16 now beginning the double elimination phase for solo. So we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, it's solo matches, match 1 of the round of 16.